an emergency.
I saw something.
And then I was trying to find out what it is, and I'm trying to explain it to you.
Yeah, we tried.
All right, if you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now if we can remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our armed forces and first responders. Calling me to order. All right, welcome everybody to the February meeting. I just want to remind everybody that the meetings are being recorded with both voice and sound, or voice and picture. Let's see, our first meeting of action, I'll entertain a motion to accept the regular minutes of last month's meeting, 1/17/23.
I move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action that the village board opens a public hearing at 6:01 p.m. regarding the use of equipment reserve funds to pay for the unbonded portion of our new loader. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action that the village board opens a public hearing at 6:02 p.m. regarding the amendment of Chapter 54 of the Code of the Village of Attica, enacting an exemption from real property taxes for real property owned by veterans who rendered military service in the United States during the Cold War.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action, the village board opens a public hearing at, let's stay with 6:02. Regarding the amendment of Chapter 54-28A, changing the exemption for fire department and ambulance members from a maximum of $3,000 to a 10% exemption from the assessed value from real property taxes. Good motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action, the village board approves the following transfers. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action, the following claims be approved and the clerk to draw the checks.
I move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So at this time, we'll open this up to, is Della here?
You're gonna let me go first?
Yeah!
All right. Well, I'm Lynn Donnelly from Nesbitt Road, and I don't know if anybody's been up there lately by the reservoir, but the beavers are back. And they were there a few years ago, and they got trapped out or whatever they do to them to get rid of them. But now they're back, and they're really doing a lot of work up there. If you haven't been up there, take a ride and check it out. You can't help but admire them. They're the only other animal that alters its environment to suit itself and to progress itself. So they're a lot like people in a lot of ways. Not to give them that, but I've talked to Mike at the water department in the spring and said, you know, the beavers are there. Don't get rid of them. They got babies. So he goes, as long as the water flows to Attica, I don't care what goes on up there. So that was cool. So they stayed there all summer, and now, well, it's February, and I had a feeling that they were probably going to do something about the beavers again. So I called down there, and he goes, oh, yeah, we were going to call somebody, but we haven't done it yet. And I says, well, I'm going to go and talk to the village board on the 21st, and I'm just going to plead for the beavers. So I did some research, and I found some different solutions that might help us to keep the beavers and still keep the water flowing to Attica. If I can give you guys some information.
Absolutely.
There's a couple of different ways, but they all involve putting a flex pipe kind of thing down there. So this information is how to build and install a flex pipe, and then there's some information about solving beaver flooding problems with the use of these devices. And you can find pros and cons, and this information is kind of a little on the older side, but beavers are the same. They don't change. They don't get corrupt. They just are beavers. So
It destroyed my property in Warsaw, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the beavers did?
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Dammed up an area and it really flooded a
yeah.
big portion of my property.
Well, the beavers like the softwoods. They don't like the pines and stuff kind of where they are. Does anybody else want any of this stuff? So, and they can't really flood too much except Jerry Murray's property, which I talked to him a lot, and he likes the beavers too. I talked to Baker across the street, he likes the beavers. I talked to Danny Myers, the farmer, all the people who are just mostly adjacent to and would be impacted if the road flooded, which we don't want the road to flood. So the way they're working out there, the dams they're building, and they're building more than one, is the water is going back toward the reservoir, because they did do a new drainage ditch out there last summer or the summer before, I'm not sure which allows more water to flow under there. But
So I'm guessing this is the outlet of the.
yeah, the spillway.
Yep.
They're building down in the, take a ride up there, you'll be amazed.
Yeah.
But the water is going toward the reservoir, but it can only go so far because there's hills there with pine trees all on them. So, and they've taken down pretty much every poplar on my property, which is pretty amazing because they're like this big around, and they've just got them laying all over the place. But people have been trying to get rid of them all the time, and I know and I understand that there's a need for that, and there can be a need for that. But they're in a place where I think we could keep the water flowing to Attica and keep the road from flooding. And Jerry says, as long as they dump a couple of loads that they scrape off the side of the road in my backyard, I'm okay with the beavers too. So they can't really do a whole lot. I mean, I say that because I like the beavers and I want the beavers to stay there. But they could be monitored, and they can be, some of that information talks about the minimal really maintenance of once you install something like this. And the neighbors are all going to be there. We're all right there. So we watch the beavers, and we could keep an eye kind of on it. Funding it, I don't know how we would do that. If this is something that you guys would consider, I don't know where we go from here, but I just make a plea to keep the beavers there and to try something like this. The things that it goes into making it are concrete blocks, corrugated pipe, and some hog panels bent to go around this and that to keep the beavers from plugging things up. It's not a huge expense to install one of these things, but it does take some manpower, and it does take a little bit of cash. So I don't know what you think or where we go from here, but.
Yeah, well, it's something to look into, with this information, just hand it to us, if we
Yeah,
want this
yeah.
stuff. I'd like to take a ride up there and see.
Take a ride.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm the one you talked to.
Oh, Mike, are you Mike?
I'm Matt.
Oh, you're
Talked
Matt.
to Corey last
Okay,
time.
okay.
I gave you Doug's number.
Yeah.
We got more problems than that, though. We
Yeah.
got the water's backing up, and it's going around our dam structure now. And what's happening there is it's making dam walls fall down. We already have issues up there with
The
things
beaver
that need
dam
to be
walls?
upgraded.
Oh, are you talking about the spillway
the
walls?
spillway walls are all starting to crumble down. Where the beavers are, they got 7 dams there.
Oh, my God.
So, and I talked to Larry Deal, which runs the supervisor for the town.
Yeah.
We're only that far from going over the road. We get a good rating of that.
Yeah.
We've got some trouble. We got roads washing out. We've got the beavers. I know some people think they're cool and everything, but they're a nightmare. They're a hell of a carpenter, because we ripped that all out last year. We were in there with our excavator. We ripped out all the dams, and they built them 3 times as big.
Yeah, because there's beavers all over up there.
Oh,
So there's
yeah.
beavers on the other side of the reservoir.
Right.
I think Catullas
And-
have beavers in their pond.
And New York State says we're not supposed to have beavers in a drinking watershed because of beaver fever. So
Yeah.
there's a lot more into it than just watching the animals swim around.
Right. Well, I'm sure of all that. But
I mean, I was the one that told you, as long as it doesn't affect
Right,
the water
okay.
while it coming, it's starting to affect water.
Yeah, I don't know how many of
We
them
got
are up
dams.
there, but
They're-
yeah.
they're 5 foot
big.
high.
They're big dams. They're
Yeah.
impressive.
So it definitely is something that if we're doing, these pipes or something like that, there's gonna be a heck of a lot of maintenance around these pipes too.
Well, if there's has to be more than a couple of them, yeah, there would be.
Yeah, the only thing is, number 3 spillway is starting to, it had some problem at the bottom, and the more water we back up to it, then freezing, and I mean, stuff's starting to tip. I was up there just the other day.
Is that number three up there on this
There's
road?
some
Yeah.
stuff that's starting.
They're just gonna keep coming back, though. It'd be nice to just to,
Unfortunately, once you have beaver, you always do, and
Yeah.
actually the DEC told me to start every year having a trapping program.
oh,
So, and you can't relocate beavers.
no, you can't.
You can't,
Yeah, I talked to them, I talked to the DEC. She
Yeah,
explained all to me how it would just be giving another area beaver
more
problem.
problems.
Right, so.
Yeah, I kind of get where, I don't want to upset anybody, but we
Right.
gotta, I mean, there's probably 12 beaver up there.
Are there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We go up in their truck, and we can watch 3 or 4 of them swimming around.
right. I know there had to be more than just one family up there.
Oh, yeah.
There's
So we got them at the other end too, that we have to take care of. That from our inlet, when
Oh,
they're
really?
damming up the
Yeah.
water coming to us.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna keep doing it. So, in my way of looking at it is maybe we could find a way to downsize them and get rid of some of them and.
As long as we can keep good water, like I said in
Yeah.
the beginning, if I
Right.
keep good water
Once the
flow
water
and
keeps
stuff.
coming.
But right now, we don't have good water flow.
Right, yeah, no. Mhm. I didn't know there were 7. I knew there were 3.
Yeah, and as you go back farther, like off of your property, where
Yeah.
our right of way is,
Yeah.
if you go down there, there's one right after another.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they got it back.
They do. I noticed that if you saw the trees down
Oh, yeah. they're
on my
taking down trees
property,
like
it's like, they're planning on building, but, that would also be a good time to get those little pipes in there too. But just,
Maybe I should get one of those from you.
Oh, yeah,
So
sure,
I
I'd
can
be
look at
happy
that,
to.
too.
Happy to.
Now, would it be wise to widen it down below?
If we could get, see, now that's a Class A trout stream. Yeah.
Everything is so protected.
Yeah.
We can't have any excavator, we got the excavator last year off the side, so we were on land to scrape the beaver. Now, there is no land to go on with an excavator. We need a long reach to get out there. I mean, it's flood. You should take it.
Yeah, I don't have to.
It's impressive.
It is, they're really good carpenters.
And they're making more, the DEC guy was up there looking at ducks, and I'm thinking, well, that's good for the ducks, because they're making all kinds of
Yeah, they do have. lots of
wetlands
there.
and stuff like that, but, it's gonna be a repetitive process to keep getting rid of them all.
Yeah, and I mean, at the very least, we got to downsize.
Well, and I'm okay, I don't like that either, but we have to, I understand it's a municipal thing, and I get that, I truly get that. But, if any of that information can get us someplace where we can at least maybe manage them,
Yeah,
rather than just keep getting rid of them, because they keep coming back.
I've been to the water plant now going on my 11th year, and this
Yeah.
is the first time I've really seen them there.
Yeah,
So-
you're right, I've lived out there 25 years, and when I first moved out there is when I saw them the first time.
And they had them trapped.
I don't know what they did, but they
Yeah.
got rid of them, yeah.
Big
And,
Wilson trapped them.
and
I've seen
then,
otters up there, but I've never seen.
And
I-
that's one other thing you gotta be,
Yeah.
it's a crucial thing, if you get them trapped, you gotta make sure that you get beaver, because you can't trap otter.
Right.
Oh,
And the otter are really cool animals. I
Yeah,
like
they
seeing them
are.
out on the water.
I haven't seen them up there, but.
Oh, yeah, they're cool.
I don't get out
They
there as much
swim
as
on their
I used
bellies
to.
or on their backs.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
cool.
they're cool. They're cool to
So,
watch.
so there you go, you got an issue with the otters versus the beavers, you don't wanna be catching them otters. So it's.
You have to know what you're doing up
It's,
there.
it's one of those things where it's a fine line of what's humane, and think about it that way
And
too.
protected,
And the otters are protected, and you don't wanna make a mistake and grab one of them guys, and,
Yeah, and humane way to do it is, they call them condor It's instant.
I know what a conibear is.
Yep. And I don't want it, I don't do the leg hole, I don't,
Yeah,
that's the snares or anything like that, because
Right.
then they flop around and
well, they drown, yeah, they drown.
Condor is the way to go.
But, yeah, and when I talked to you in the spring, it was like, oh, the babies, they're those,
Yeah.
oh, don't
I
kill
tried to
them.
let him go as long as I
You
could.
did,
Now
and
we
I
just got
appreciated
problems.
that because we did have a summer of beaver watching. But, again, if we can manage them, it's probably a smarter thing to do in the long run than to just keep having to spend the money to go up there and get rid of everything.
Yeah, I was up there the other day wondering how I was gonna
Yeah.
get rid of the dams that they had now.
Have you spoke to the DC about it, or?
I did talk to Mike. Mike's the.
Oh, the DEC guy, Mike. That's where I got that from.
Mike's
I
the
did talk-
DEC guy.
He was up
and
there in
he's-
his truck, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing the ducks.
Yes.
And we actually let him go back there and do
He
studies
didn't
on
have good
them.
things to say about the beavers, so.
Yeah, he said they're cool animals, but he said they're very destructive.
Destructive, they are.
They
really
changed
are.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
they changed things.
Like a
but-
farmer.
Yeah, he lives up on Gilson.
Oh,
He's a good guy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
talked to
I've
him.
talked to him quite a bit, so it's hard.
Yeah.
It's.
But it's something to consider managing them rather than just getting rid of them altogether and having to keep doing that over and over and over.
And right now is trapping season, so it's the easiest for the village of Attica now to have
Yeah,
somebody
right.
at zero cost do it.
Well,
Then it will be in the summertime when it's gonna cost us money to get
Right.
rid of.
I believe nuisance trapping, I think, is year-round, no matter what, as long as they're.
You gotta buy the
considered
nuisance permits.
Right.
And we have to purchase them, and then they kind of watch you a little, and not that anything's wrong, but I mean, it's a heck of a lot easier to do it during trapping season. I think it ends in April. Beaver trapping.
As to my neighbor Derek Joller there, that's what he does, he nuisance. And he was talking to me the other day, he was going out checking his traps.
Now, he actually got a spot farther up. He thought that was the spot the guy wanted. He's back behind Swartz's. There's beaver all the way down to Cascade Road. So he's working with that guy, trying to get him down that way, get him out of there. This family has, before you know, it's going to be a number 2 really bad.
Yeah, they're just getting to be more and more around, which is my point. They're gonna keep coming,
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
not gonna
because
go away
people don't
until-
trap so much anymore as they used to.
Oh, no.
No,
They
it's-
used
you're
to do
right.
it for the money for the
Yeah,
hides. They're not worth anything.
that's what
Right.
made me think to call you when I did, is because, well, this is prime pelt season right now, you know. and I know you gotta be thinking trapping beavers, and I understand that some of them might have to go, but if we manage them, we can maybe keep it under control. It's
Right.
just a thought.
It is a thought, and I agree with you. It's just, I have Dave Polson doing number 2 and 1, getting them out of our drinking water.
Yeah.
Literally, right there, he's been up there. So it's going to become more of a headache, and they're kind of like rabbits. Once they start having babies, they have a lot of them.
Yeah,
And they become very good carpenters very quick.
yeah.
Yes, they do.
If they feel like they're not being confronted, you know, they're just.
Well,
gonna
they
keep-
cut every tree down behind our shed at the water plant. Every tree this big to that big, they're gone. Clear cut our whole side hill. It's an issue.
Well, definitely, thank you for bringing this to our
Well,
attention.
sure, and,
That's
you know,
definitely something we're gonna have to look into, put
I
our heads
guess I'll
together.
keep talking to this one here, so find out.
Yeah, you
what's
got my
going
number
on.
at the plant. You
I
can call
do.
me anytime. If I'm not, ask for Matt though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Like I said, if I can help it out in organizing or helping you funding, I was trying to find some public funding because for this sort of thing, and I did find one, but they never got back to me. So it was a state-run thing for, you know, funding beaver management and beaver management,
Yeah.
rather than just, you know, legally getting rid of it.
Right.
But they didn't get back to me.
No surprise.
I'm not surprised. But thanks for your time, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for speaking to me, you've always been very nice.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing us to our
Even though I'm a
attention.
little out there sometimes. But I just admire them, they're inspiring.
They are neat looking, yeah. It's
They're
like,
really
very
inspiring
destructive,
what
but, but just like any, you know, that's their job. You know, that's what they do.
They got a
You
job,
know, you
they're
can't-
doing it.
Yeah,
every
you
day.
can't be mad at them for it,
I
but.
mean, yeah. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
All right, anybody else?
Well, I'm here to ask for some money.
How much you need?
My righteousness will come right out and tell you, that's what I'm here for. So I am now, I'm working with the senior citizen group. Because we hadn't done one in like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So we started it back up in January. Our first group meeting, we had 32 people. This past Saturday, we had 42 people. So it's increasing. So I want to take the senior citizens and do things with them. Because a lot of them can't drive. They can't, you know, they don't walk a lot. So I have suggested to them that we take them on one-day trips. I've priced one-day trips. If I can get 40 people to go on the bus, it's $139 per person. So what my goal is for us to be able to pay the 100 and they pay the remainder. Because they're also going to need spending money wherever we go. I know you have already got a budget in there of $2,200 whenever the town asks for it. Well, I told them last night that I want the money.
So that's what, it came to me, what was it, day before yesterday, I think it was.
Because I said, and you know, when I questioned too, where had the money gone years in the past? I said, do they set it aside and roll it over? No, they don't do that. That goes in their general fund so they can use it to pay their own stuff. which I don't understand that. That to me, that doesn't make sense. Because they told me that if I have extra money at the end of this year, I can roll it over. Well, if I can roll it over, why can't they roll that money over and give it to us when we need it? Well, there's nothing I can do about that part of it. So we sat last night and they said we're only allowed $4,500. So we get 22 from you, 23 from them. So out of that, we have to pay for 2 lunches, which usually is about $750 or $800. So I figured that's $1,600 out of that. We have to pay the rental for the church. That's $600. So by the time I got through, we ended up with $2,300. So then I asked, well, when do we get that money? They didn't know. And I said, where does the money go? They didn't know. They didn't know that there is an actual account down at the bank that this money should go to. So to me, I don't understand that. If we're allowed that, how am I going to plan any things with the seniors if I don't know when I'm going to get the money, how much money I'm going to get? So I'm wondering, for your next budget, I know it can't change right now, but for your next budget, can I get an increase? Knowing that if I take 40 people, it's going to be at least $4,000 for me to take one bus trip. And, you know, I like to do a couple things with them. I want to do chicken barbecues with them. You know, there's just so many things that, and they're not expensive things, but it's expensive to them because they're all on fixed incomes.
Darren, can you, Office of the Aging, do they have any grants or anything they give you guys, or no?
I called over there. The lady was going to call me back. She's never called me back. So I was going to ask you if you would know where I could apply for some grants.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Because the travel agent that I'm going through, which is in Batavia, she said there is grants for like Wyoming County senior citizens. Nobody seems to know where I would go and write to see if I can get some money.
Historically, the town has taken care of the senior citizens and the village has taken care of the youth rec. So they have a contract with us where they give us money for youth rec. We have a contract with them that we give them money for the senior citizens. They haven't requested it in a few years. But as of when the mayor walked in, they handed me the contract.
It was dropped off at my house Sunday evening.
That's the timing that is,
They
right?
got handed to me. He said, I need you to sign this. I can't just sign this.
So, yeah, it looks like we'll be able to make our donation to the town based on the contract this year. I would assume, but I don't know how the town operates their expenditures. But I know in our case, if we had the program, you would submit an invoice to us, and then we would reimburse you, or we would pay you. And then at the end of the year, if there's money left in the account, we would earmark that into a reserve account, so then it could continue to build. But if it's taxpayer money, then that's how we'd have to handle it. I don't know what they do. I'm just telling you what we would do if there was money left in the account at the end of the year, we would earmark it into a reserve just for senior citizens.
So why can't your money just come to this group?
That's up to the village board. It's not my decision.
I mean, to me, it would make sense to have it go right into that account. You know exactly where it's going. And then,
Then we would have to have a contract with the senior citizens
Yes.
in order for us to do that. We have to have a contract to spend any money
Which is basically what we do with
with the
the
town.
chamber.
That's what,
But I think with the chamber.
right.
So we do that with the chamber. We do it with the library as well, right?
Yep.
So, we have a contract through them, and then we just basically cut them a check. So we could, I don't see why we couldn't do that with, as long as I mean, it would have to be a legit thing, I would imagine, which.
Well,
Yeah.
it is legit.
No, but you know what I mean, though. You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to do that.
We had a contract with the senior citizens with whatever amount. I know right now it's 2,200. It'll be 2,200 until we work on the budget for next year. I don't have any problem with increasing that amount that we afford them. But if we had a contract with senior citizen group, they could still submit their bills to us, right? And then we would pay them as they received them. If you went on a trip, like say, then we would pay that. And then anything left over at the end of May, which is our year, that would be put into a reserve fund.
Yes, you could do it that way, or like Nate said, you could do it how we handle the library. And, the chamber, they would do a contract with us, and we would just give them a check for the total amount that we budget. It's done with us,
But they deal with it.
and then they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, that
And they
way,
could put it into their account at the bank.
Correct. They can put it in their account at the bank. They always have to draw from. At the end of the year, when the new contract is done, we would just ask for a list of the expenditures.
Okay.
That's all.
That
And that's
would
just
be
double
much-
check them, and they double check us.
That would be
Yeah.
much easier than the
Sure.
other.
yeah.
Why don't we just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
that's
So
what
we
I think too, yeah.
we would end the
Yeah.
contract with it.
That's up to you guys if that's what you want to do.
We would have to have that contract.
I mean, that's
Set
to
a
streamline
contract.
the process too, and make it easier.
Well, they know how much money they have
Well,
left.
yeah,
over
at
it is.
least it tell me right then what we have,
And you
to
could
know
balance.
where else I have to go to get more money.
At least wise you'd have it in advance and you could balance it
Yeah,
on your
If
own.
we did do that, if the board agreed to do that, then I would suggest you go to the town and ask them for a contract also. Then they can give you the $2,300 and put that right in your, it'd be
okay,
easier for them to be honest.
okay.
But the first step would be to get a contract from them.
Yeah, well, we would have Tim work on it, if that's what you guys wanted to do.
Yeah, to work on a contract.
I think it makes it a lot simpler for them.
And that would happen
They know what
before,
they have to manage.
that would happen before
What do you think?
March.
Yeah, I mean, you could have it ready for the next meeting.
Next meeting.
Sure,
Notify them.
you adopt it the next meeting.
And then that money would go into their
I'm
account
sure that that
before
was just a
June.
budget thing.
And then in June, there would be
And then they're not gonna.
A new one.
they're not
a new one.
contributing to the seniors.
So then would I come back in June to see if I could
It's still
ask
half
for
and
more
half.
money
They still
then?
contribute.
Or do I just, right now?
No, we
I
know
don't
now, because I'm preparing the budget now,
Okay,
so that's what we're gonna be working on. So, once the board approves whatever they wanna give you, they would let me know and put it in the budget.
okay.
Do you have any idea of what you would be looking for, let's say in next fiscal year, or want to work on that and give us an idea?
Yeah. When do I have to have it, like an exact amount?
I usually try to finish my budget by like the first week in March or so.
You almost have perfect timing.
I'd give you
Sharpen that
some
pencil.
Can I get double what I'm getting right now?
That's,
You can ask
Because
us
if I got
to
double
consider it.
what I'm getting right now, that would give me one full day trip for 40 people. And I have to have 40 people for the bus, because they can't use a school bus. These seniors, they tried a school bus, they can't do it.
Yeah.
They have to have a good bus, and one that's handicap accessible.
And a
So,
bathroom.
yeah, I would say I want it doubled. And then I will say the same for, town.
Now, if you guys asked, given the Lions Club, I know.
Oh, I'm gonna. Don't worry. I've already, that's already been, people know already I'm coming to that.
So now, like, let's say, for instance, if say the Lions Club gave you 1,000, would that be 1,000? We're just looking at numbers. If we're to double it, I mean, that's a substantial amount. But if we say we're to get 1,000 from the Lions Club, that would be $500 less from the town, $500 less from the village. Would that still, just throwing that out there?
Well, the thing of that is, I don't think they're gonna, I don't know how the Lions Club works. I don't know if they're just gonna give me, let's just say they give me 1,000. Is that gonna be every year? Or is that gonna be one time? If that's only gonna be one time, that's not gonna, I mean, it's gonna help, but it's not gonna really make that big of a difference.
Typically, they do it every year. We give, a lot to a lot of organizations every year, the same amount. But, I can't speak on behalf of the Lions,
Yeah.
We just had
So
a meeting
until I
last
really
week.
know whether it's all the time or just once, it's hard for me to say, I'll double it.
Right.
Because, my theory is ask for more. And then if you say, no, I can't do that, and you say, oh, I can only go to 35, okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only thing the village would want to see if we did a contract is that at the end of our fiscal year or your year, that the money's all used. So
None can roll over.
we would rather not see that, because then if it rolls over, then we'd probably give you two. Right? Because you didn't
See,
use it.
that's what I tried to tell Bonnie.
Right.
We
Then you
should
used
not
it.
have any
You
money
should be
in that
flush at the
account.
end of the year, because then you get reimbursed after that by both of us.
So government, use it or lose it.
When I told Bonnie I'm
it
gonna
is.
need 4,000, I know she thinks that figure sounds crazy, but you're talking 40 people. So really, that's not crazy.
Right.
And I figure the same. Why keep it in there? Just spend it.
Right.
Yeah,
Giving it to you to spend it.
yeah,
So spend it.
yeah, not to keep saving it and,
And even that, with 40 people, $100 a crack, that's one trip, that's it for the year.
yeah.
And I know like they, do dinners and things like that.
Well, what we're doing now is I go down, when we have our meetings, I go down and cook their food for them, and they pay me $4. And for me, I want to just try to cover the food. The rest of it, it doesn't matter. At least that way I know they're getting a good meal and they don't have to do anything with it.
How old do you have to be to join this?
Your age.
In fact, you could have done it about 4 years ago.
I go.
That's right, Mr. Walker comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'll make a
yeah,
motion
I
that
just
we,
wanna-
form a contract with the senior citizens, have Tim draw one up.
Now, do we need a dollar amount before we?
We've got the dollar amount for this year.
You know what it is right now.
Yeah, it's 2,200.
Is that going to be okay?
You want that
this
in the
year?
same
Well, for
motion?
this year, it has to be. We
Okay.
have to go by, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand that, so we'll go by what you're gonna give us, because my hope is I might get a little more other places.
Yeah, I think the Lions Club will
Yeah.
definitely do something. I know they do really well with the German Fest and so.
You want that the same motion as far as next year, or a different motion?
Well, we'll just do it in our budget. We don't need a motion.
Oh, in the budget?
Yeah, we'll just put it in the budget.
Just
Oh,
the
okay.
budget.
Whatever
Okay,
you
now all we need is this second on a motion that we have a contract drawn up for Tim for the organization, and then we have to notify the town that we are doing so. And they'll have to have a contract from the town.
So they'll have to draw a contract up, and then one of us will have to sign it, because we're making it now so that in the bank, where their checking account is, there was only Bonnie that was really on it, and I said, Bonnie, just to cover our butts, we need 2 or 3 of us on there. So now we're putting 3 of us on there.
And for us, you should give us a list of the stakeholders or the.
Like the president,
Correct.
that's me.
So we. Yeah.
I'm not the vice president.
The first man.
Yeah.
I'm the only man.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
You weren't there last time.
No, he
Played
wasn't.
hooky.
Oh, I had a birthday party I
Yeah.
go to, so.
All right,
Must
so
be
there's
good.
a-
Yeah, we got a motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll do that. We'll make it a lot easier for you.
And if anybody wants to come, you're more than welcome to come. Who knows, maybe I'll have you come sometime and talk to the people.
I was at the last one. Well,
You're the last,
yeah,
before they
the
closed
one at
down.
St. Vincent's there.
They usually invite the village board to one meeting. And
To talk a little bit?
I don't think we did.
We didn't-
Maybe
no, we didn't
just enjoyed
talk.
the meal.
Yeah.
I was there because I'm on the Make a Difference Committee, and we donated money from the Make a Difference Committee at Wyoming Correctional to hold that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I could even take this back to my Make a Difference Committee and see if we can even donate some money towards it as well,
Okay,
so.
all right. Might be money coming around.
Yeah, we'll make it. We'll be having a bunch of old people out there with dollar machines.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank
Okay.
you. Have a good night. Those are bright shoes.
Yeah. Follow.
All right, moving on to public safety. Let you guys fight it out again as usual.
Class. Go for it. We're good? Okay. Huh? You don't want to go first? Oh.
She has an excuse at least, right?
Let's see. There's a couple things. Since January 17th, we've had 11 fire calls, 5 were mutual aid, 2 in the town, and 4 in the village, and 30 ambulance calls. The trucks are starting to go out for their yearly inspection, pump service, and regular service. I know Dean had a couple things. We've had a couple of real nasty calls. We've been to, had a big house fire, which wasn't good. The other day, we had a very serious overdose in the town. And last thing we heard, that they ended up transferring the lady up to ECM's here, one of the big cities, Buff General or something like that. And we can, over here, we had notified the hospital to get set up their room 1, which is critical care. And when we pulled in the parking lot, they had people waiting at the doors were open, and they probably had at least 10 people in the ER waiting. It was like push us out of the way, and it was amazing watching Warsaw Hospital work. I know some people have bad opinions on, but the other day, once again, I can't say enough on how they were ready and took care of the patient the best that they could.
I've heard they made leaps and bounds the past 2 or 3 years.
They had all sorts of people just waiting, They came right out and helped us get the stretcher out, everything. So, but it was very interesting watching what was going on in the room. They were doing a couple of procedures I have never seen done, and I thought this is pretty interesting. So we stayed a little extra longer to watch, see what was going on. The next thing, we came last month. They said that village attorney said that he recommended not to sign the contract for the EMS. At our fire meeting, the fire department said, we can't do that. This is the village fire department, and the village is going to have to sign it. What we're recommending, again, is get hold of this attorney who does fire law and village law and get it. We got to see him before something happens. My counterpart in Arcade, he said they got a call from Monroe Ambulance about the bills they were getting. He gave him this attorney's number, and shortly later, Monroe called back and said, disregard that bill you got us. Whoever does Cat County also got a bill from them. This attorney called them, they called back and said, disregard the bill. Well, I think we gotta, to protect everybody, I think we ought to hire this attorney and get it straightened out once and for all. At our ambulance advisory board meeting the other day, currently, coordinator's been talking with Mercy down in Batavia. Mercy currently has been talking to some of their attorneys, and none of the attorneys can agree on what to do. So everything is just as clear as mud. And I said, our department will not sign the contract because they feel that we're a village fire department. We shouldn't have to sign a legal contract like that. So we're just bringing it back to you guys.
So when it gets, when the bill comes in, then it would come to us, correct? Now, how do we know if the service has been performed without you guys signing off on the bill?
Right, but the bill, I think, would be coming to us. So,
Well, if the contract's with us, why would the bill go to you?
But the biggest thing is, the way this law is written and how it is, and no one can give us a straight answer, all these attorneys. That's why we're suggesting, let's spend the money, get it straightened out once and for all, with somebody who knows fire law and village law.
So why would the bill go to you guys if it is village?
Who's,
They didn't say they're just billing the fire department. So they just know they're on Attica's ambulance. That's where the bills come.
What's that attorney's name again?
I got it downstairs, I can bring it up.
Bring it over to Bob.
Okay. What we got is
Yeah, we'll have to get some
phone
clarity on
number
this.
and
It's just,
everything.
it just
You
seems.
gave it to me before, I know.
Yeah.
In fact, I gave it.
But I know Arcade went out and hired this guy, the village, I guess, who I think they said their attorney even said, just give it to this guy because he knows what they're doing. So that's what we are suggesting, that just get us on the right track until maybe someday Albany will figure this out. I know. I know what you mean, but once again, it's just, Mercy doesn't know, their lawyers are telling them 14 different things. So, I don't know.
I think it's best to have him call this attorney.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But, I think we had to do something because it said fire department won't.
Now, when bills come in, you guys receive them then, right? And then just give them to us?
No, we need those, I bring them over and
So-
do the stamp, and then it's taken out of the accounts and all that.
He has to authorize use of those funds. Signs off on it.
And usually, if I'm not around, I tell Doug or Julie, like Ann comes or Stefan, it doesn't, just some Joe Blow fireman can't come in
Right.
and I make sure I do it in person because I make stamp it and I keep a copy of the bill because, once in a while we get double billed and I'm all right. Show them, this is when I brought the bill over. Oops, okay. Or else I'll call the company and say, we've already paid this, and they'll, okay. Then I can make sure that they can make sure it's on the record before you guys see it and all that. So,
Has the village received any of these bills yet?
pardon?
Fire
So-
department brought over a few of
Yeah.
them. a
So we
couple months
have
ago.
not paid them yet?
No.
Okay.
We have no contract.
Contract number one, plus they're billing us $1,100 a shot.
Yes, I think we
We're just
gotta,
throwing a number out there.
I think we gotta get a hold.
Just get,
Yeah,
Tim, get hold of
Yeah.
it.
What was the contract? If we sign the contract, it's what,
$295. I have talked with several other departments. There's a lot of contracts that have not been signed. The lawyer has said it's easier for me to work with it. If you sign it, I can't get you out of it. So there are several that have yet to sign it. Everybody's in a holding.
I know, because there was some discrepancies in it before.
Yeah,
She
they
did track
trained
those
them.
and she found the department to bill them. Out of the 6, 2 of them weren't ours.
Yeah, we'll have to reach out to this, have Tim reach out to the lawyer.
I'm not sure what time I'll get home tomorrow, so I might bring it up. for you.
Whatever, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever's
Just so
good.
you-
If I'm not there, throw it in my mail slot.
All right, but on that, that's all.
Thank you. Andy, anything to?
No, I'm still having the same supply issues. We have got 2 defib units that are now out of service. I found a third company. I had to personally pay for the defib pads and wait to get reimbursed, and she just emailed me and told me I'm on a 4-week delay. The other company was 6 months, and it's no longer on their website. So some of that stuff is getting hard. I did talk to the dealer that did our ambulance on another issue. He said that the ambulances prices have increased 40%.
No,
I asked him when he had a chance to send me some updated pricing on the specs we have already done with this one, just to see. And he said their company has purchased 500 chassis. That's all they could get to try to cover their sales for the next year. His was one is maybe you consider buying one now, so that in 3 years when it actually gets delivered, you're locked into a price and you'll actually get one. So that it's getting up.
We have this other.
Oh, yeah.
line. Yeah, I saw.
Good.
I guess we're
Bad
done.
enough.
Now, my good news.
I was hoping you'd have some good news.
Good evening, everybody. Since the last time we met, the police department has had 326 complaints, 5 motor vehicle accidents, 3 domestics, 1 fraud, 2 sex offenses involving children. We've issued 66 traffic tickets, 16 parking tickets, 2 arrests on warrants, got a car seat checked, and we did a couple of funeral escorts. So, I found out, I had a meeting for our Western New York Chiefs of Police Association. For fire, police, and EMS vehicles, the manufacturers are adding on what they're calling the COVID fee. And for police vehicles alone, it's anywhere between $6,000 and $8,000 on top of the base price, which is insane. I don't understand it.
No, I didn't say what the COVID, what it was, just to.
It just that it was them trying to recoup money because of COVID.
That don't make sense either.
No, not one little bit. So that's the bad news. We assisted.
Money on COVID.
We assisted Genesee County with EMS Mercy Flight at the Hillside Tavern on Attica Road. Alexander was unable to get a crew for the ambulance. When Mercy arrived, the person was in bad shape, and they needed assistance with landing Mercy. So me and Zach went. We had an EMS call at a convenience store on Main Street. I got there first. Elderly lady, she was down, not doing well until they arrived. She then became conscious and was a little combative, and yeah, we took her home. She's a cool lady. I mean, she's got some fire in her. Yeah, she refused. She did not want to go anywhere. So they were nice enough to say, okay, get in the ambulance, we'll take her. And who drove her? Who did? Jay drove her vehicle home, and we got it parked, and there became a personal progress. Tractor Trail delivering parts at Upside Dodge on Prospect. As he was backing in, crashed into a brand new parked vehicle and shoved it into 2 other brand new parked vehicles. So we had a little insurance claim there.
They were the businesses' vehicles or personal?
Oh no, they were, you go by. And watching the videotape, it was pretty impressive. February 7th was a fatal house fire up on Maxon Road in the town of Bennington. We assisted with traffic control. Attica went there, and everybody went there. And unfortunately, the homeowner did not make it. FBI has released a memo, and the reason why I'm bringing it up, you can buy a Chinese conversion kit for a Glock handgun, and with 3 minor little parts, you change it from a semi-auto to a full. And the ghost gun we have in our evidence, we're having that looked at because possibly we believe it's got the Chinese. We're just starting our spring cleanup for our unregistered motor vehicles throughout the village. I'm going to be having the guys go out there and just start looking for unregistered vehicles. If there's plates on something that's been parked all winter, we'll run the plate, see if it's still valid and whatever. Usually we'll get an early handle on this and then get it all cleaned up before spring actually hits. We had a MVA with injury on 354 in Bunnell the other night, well, a couple nights ago. As our patrol car was going up Clinton, they were coming in. He got her 60 and a 30. By the time he spun around to go pull her over, she crashed.
The Hamilton's fence again.
Hamilton's fence again. I don't think there was too much damage to it other than it's covered in mud. She just rolled it down the curb or down the ditch. But minor injuries. She got numerous tickets. And then we assisted the fire department with the fire alarm. Saturday. A child pulled the fire alarm at the And you've got the memo about the staffing.
Yes.
And I'd like to go into executive session to talk about personnel matters.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. Any questions?
Wasn't there, I don't know, I can't remember who I was talking to, but there was a lady that was killed with a tree falling on her?
It was Katie Goodman at the Alexander Steam Show.
Okay, that's where.
They were clearing an area of a gully, and Steam Show wanted to fill it in for more area. And unfortunately, the tree went the wrong way, and she was killed.
Active shooter. Where are we at?
I was supposed to, well, good thing you bring it up. We were supposed to have a county threat assessment meeting Monday, and then they postponed it till next Monday because it's President's Day. Or yesterday. And I was supposed to have a meeting with the sheriff and my 4 chiefs to talk about the personnel problem in the county, so we could come up with a county-wide answer to it that everybody's going to buy into. And that meeting was canceled.
What do we have so far?
Yeah, an outline.
I mean, you look at it, it's getting closer to home. I mean, look what just happened in Batavia here. Walmart.
Oh, yeah. Good thing we don't have Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah, but you never know.
Right.
Leading competitor is Dollar General. So I'd really like to get something here. You know,
We will.
In the very near future here. Sit down with school and even docs and have something here to let everybody know their role.
Well, I'll just give you some of those Glock
Yeah.
transitions.
There's enough people to have them. That's the problem. I just watched a thing on, I don't know, Netflix or one of the things on, it was on TV that Maria is, I don't know her name, but they did a whole thing on ghost guns and things, and wow.
Yeah.
It's, and they were talking with all the manufacturers and stuff, and they're legally made right here in the United States and just shipped right to your house.
Mhm.
That's pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you just bring them home and drill the stuff out. Got yourself a fully
They have
automatic.
YouTube videos on there to show you how to do it.
Yeah, that's what I saying. 1 million hits on the one just to show. I don't know if it was a Glock or something, but how to turn that into a fully automatic. Yeah, we really need to get our ducks in a row on this stuff.
Okay. We good?
Another thing, just, we've all been watching what's been going on out in Ohio with Norfolk and Southern.
Oh, yeah.
Just someday, just watch what's going through Attica and all the tank cars, and just, mayor, reach out, like the village, send a letter to support to the, what's the guy, federal government, transportation. So it's
Pete Buttigieg.
Mayor.
yeah, and town, we hope they do something, because we saw what happened a couple years ago up on Maywood Road, and as far as I know, I don't think they've really taken care of the property up there, and it's, just makes you wonder, the way they go through here sometimes, And I got the scanner listening at times. It's unbelievable the problems that they have. And they can't make it up the hill.
I'll pull those trees out the creek. Or down there, and just that trestle itself has cab cons with boards that they poured cement, I mean,
You know what?
and that kind of hit at home with the Ohio thing because of the watershed. I mean, these people are in some serious trouble.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, for many a mile, so more folks should, but they're not gonna do anything. How many times did you call them, Doug, about the trees? I mean, it is what it is, but it does hit at home. That can happen here.
Jay, with that problem with them climbing the hills, what happened was they sold a bunch of their engines. And they're good engines. They kept the crappy ones. So they have about half the amount of engines they used to, because of COVID.
Right.
And now a train that would normally maybe have 3 engines only has 2.
And one in the
So, and
center.
that's the problem when they get stuck across East Main and 238 is they're stuck. They have to wait for another engine to come in to get them going again.
And then you also listen where computers die on them and they don't know how to restart the engine. Just listening to some of the conversations that, what a rinky dink outfit.
And then if they don't time their route right, when they hit they have to stop. They
Yeah.
can't wait till they get back to the yard. So they sit there and wait until another crew comes in.
Yeah, you see the taxis go up to East Main Street once in a while.
And they're disgruntled about it too, so they'll wait till their time's up, and then they'll call. So, at the guy at the station.
After seeing this train derailment and watching what goes through Attica,
A lot of that's chlorine too.
But I think, in our active shooter, our assessment would fall under that same parameter, anything even with train derailments, stuff like
Emergency
that.
response.
between the trains and shooting at the transformers, like substation,
Yeah.
all that good stuff nowadays that is
Yeah.
coming up with.
What a world we live in. Anybody have any good news?
You do.
I do?
Sure.
Is it DPW?
You're next. right?
Yeah, well, does anybody have anything for the public safety? No? We can move on to Matt, please have some good news.
Well, the good news is the plant's moving along real good.
Here we go. Drop the confetti.
We actually had a meeting last Tuesday, and we should have a final drawing of the plant by May to hand to the health department so they can review it. And then we're getting really into the nuts and bolts now of everything. So we're moving forward. It's going good. We're still on the roll for April to start of 24. So no, that is good news up there. Basically, I come to all of them, but I came tonight to talk about the beavers.
Oh, really?
Kind of glad she left. Not that I wanted to not do it in front of her, but we do have a game of that guy. Bad. It's very bad. I've been watching them for about almost a year now, and we did go up last summer. Craig came up to tried to break, tried to keep it, not kill any of the beavers. It's bad. They're from there to the water plant. We have beavers. I understand they kind of look cool swimming, but they're a giant rat.
Yeah, we can't have that, especially like you say. I mean, that's the first I've ever heard of beaver fever.
Yeah, that was in old days. If that got into your water, our filters now will take it out, even the ones we have now. But back in the day, I mean, it's like food poisoning.
Yeah.
It gets into your water. We got beaver. I mean, that's amazing up there. I actually have one guy trapping on the other side, and at 2 in one. I was a little nervous of this until she came, because I didn't want to have guys down there, and she goes, wait, what happened about the board meeting? But you're going to have to get them.
Well, we gotta do.
Saving
Protect the
them.
water
Get 'em
source,
out. Get 'em out.
Yeah, saving them and limiting them to a couple there, they're just gonna have more, and then we're gonna be in the same thing. And I don't know who's paying for this guy. The water plant don't wanna pay to have tunnels put in special for the neighbors watch beavers.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Plug up anyhow, right?
They're just gonna keep,
And right now, it's trapping season, so it'll cost us $0 to get rid of them. Guys will come in.
That's
just
till
do
when?
it.
When does that stop?
I think April 15th, actually, I think.
Like I say, I mean, Derek traps year round.
Yeah, he actually, DEC, I talked to Derek, because the guy up the street asked him, and he was nervous to do it down there. Like, my brother traps them, this Dave Polson traps them, all these guys trap them, but the problem is now, you get a landowner who really thinks they're nice, $7,500 traps come up. You know, who's gonna go in there and really be confident? And hey, I'm gonna go trap for you guys, but I start losing $500-600 worth of traps. Who's paying for them? Because I don't think she would do it, but the Jerry on the other side, I like him and everything. So he might go out there and just take him just to take him. I don't know. I'm just assuming.
We get some of those game cameras.
I do have two that they have at the police department I can get my hands on. And one thing I did have is, like, I can let my brother in if he wants to, whoever wants to do it. I just thought it should be somebody that either lives in the town or the village, because they pay taxes to this area. So we can let them in, actually to the dam, and no one would really know that. A little sneakier, just going on side of Nesbitt Road, walking in with chest waders.
I'd say the best way you can figure it out is get
Okay. I just didn't want to say that.
And is this something we should probably reach out to BC about, though?
He's already
No,
talked.
I already talked to him.
So
Right
they're-
now, it's no matter what we want to do, because we can do whatever we want till April 15th, because it's, as long as we get permission for people to be on there to get them. And I did talk to Doug earlier about the, close to the water plant and stuff, and I don't know if he's caught any yet, but I think he's coming through. That spillway up top.
We have to do what we gotta do to protect our water source.
Yeah, and once they're gone, and we can maybe break up some of the dams, maybe I can get Craig this summer. But right now, you can't get in there because
It's
it's
that bad.
excavator in the water.
Maybe we want to look into finding out what it entails to become a nuisance trapper. You know, maybe
Yeah.
it'd be something, you know, if you had your license to do it, you'd be able to just,
I still got my trapping license.
yeah. So you'd be able to set up a trap line as well, you know,
Yeah.
during the times. You know, not to throw another job on you.
No, and I will do anything that it takes. It's just the biggest thing is staying in tune with it, you know?
Yeah, I know.
It's
There's a lot that goes into trapping. I know that. I never got into it because there is a lot that goes into trapping.
Yeah, I caught my hand more times than I caught
Yeah.
yours.
And a lot of time you got to put into it too.
Yeah,
You gotta
well,
check it the next day and
And
the amount of times.
the pelts aren't worth that
No.
much. The biggest thing is, a lot of these guys do it because they like the hobby.
Yeah, Derek. Derek just likes doing it. He traps rusting. That's what he says, you know.
So, if you don't mind, I'll get with Doug so he knows what's going on.
I think we
Because
have
I
to.
see him on
Do
a
we need to
daily
make a
basis.
motion
I don't think so.
Okay, no, so I'll just get with Doug so he knows what's going on, so if anyone calls, he knows that we're on the same wavelength.
I mean, you know, with her, it's. I can't imagine you're going to get them all. Maybe we will, but you know, I'm sure even if you've got 10 of them out, 3 more are going to show up. They just,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
in every
they hear running
deal.
water, they're just going to appear again. So she's probably always going to see beaver up there. There might be a little less, but I mean, by the sound of things, she just likes seeing 1 or 2. Chances are you're probably going to be 1 or 2 that.
I was a little nervous of our right of way because our right of way goes property.
Yes.
That's why I was really kind of, I was ready for this.
Yeah.
I seen her.
Well, she seemed cool.
No, she was
Yeah.
cool. She understood, which was
Yeah.
great. And I tried to, really did try this spring. I said, oh, let me do a few things, but I can't spend a lot of money, you know, up here unless I get rid of them. It didn't work.
I don't even know if this would work, especially if they're all the way to the other reservoir. I mean, even if you just put in the one pipe there,
No.
they're just going to go on the other side.
Right.
So we're going to spend all that money for
And
one
there's-
section.
And the other on Croaks Road was full. But we gotta make sure we got water for our road residents.
It's just that there's not many people trapping them, and because the pelts aren't worth anything, and there's just so much time you got to put into it. Everybody's got the hustle and bustle. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to.
Okay.
Yeah, do what you got to do. But we got bad news for beavers instead of us.
Good news on the water.
Bad news. Starting with good.
Anything else for DPW? Do you got anything else?
I didn't meet with Craig because it was a holiday, but I did call him before the holiday and ask him what was going on, what he wanted to report on. And one of the things that, positive thing, is that he is jetting throughout the village, which hasn't been done for quite some time, from what I understand. But he was up by your house the other day, and he, a couple other places where they.
I saw a walnut.
Yeah, so that's a good thing that, get those scheduled. And, the other thing he mentioned is that the material down at the ice skating pond has been picked up and taken care of. Apparently, we're not gonna be down there on the old site anyhow this year, anything weather-wise that would help us to have any kind of ice there. And then we've got to look at the Plan B, the other location next year, and look at moving the shed lighting to the new area. And are we going to look at putting some lighter on the blacktop there? Are we putting some paint or something, white paint or something like that?
That's what they talked about, so we'll see what plan they have. Some kind of a sealer, rubberized sealer.
A color, a light color, so that it would deteriorate the ice that quick. But apparently that
Well, it
holds
gets
up
most
pretty
of
good,
this.
right, as it is now, from what it was. We should have better ability there to maintain ice. Are we gonna keep the same distance? That was,
Yeah, I think we'll have to go down there and just kind of see what we have to work with down there. I think we discussed about, having it, I mean, we hardly even got any snow this winter, but we don't know what next winter is going to be here.
That's the,
But,
drives us
yeah, but, I mean, what do we do? Just, I don't know.
our man hours would be much, much less to work down there. At the new place, the new location. And I think we'd be able to maintain ice a little easier, even though the weather might not be nicest.
Well, they seem to think also in that new location that there's some leakage around the catch basin, that and the asphalt. I don't know how bad it is, how you would seal that up. That is an issue as well, but it doesn't seem like that was something that should be a problem. Other stuff, moving the old shed, the cost for that. Because I don't think our guys would be able to handle that.
I don't know. Of course, you have the gas line and of course the lights.
Gas
also.
line and electricity too. So we'd have to figure out what it's really gonna cost us to try to budget for that.
I almost think that we have to move the shed if we're gonna move the ice rink. Dad family donated that building, and I think we gotta still be able to have a function for that building. That was basically been using it for. Originally, what was it there for?
What
Ice,
is the what?
the dad building.
That they bought, that's was
That
part
what
of
it
the,
was for?
yeah, that was part
Okay,
of the,
so that was, so that,
part of the donation.
yeah, so I think we still gotta be able to use that building and move it. I know it's gonna cost us some money, but
Did it come in two halves or something?
No.
No?
You can move those fairly simple. They're gonna have to, I don't know why they did that. They actually moved the dirt up to it, but if you were to take the dirt out, what these are, they're built on skids.
Oh,
So once we get the dirt out of the way, we can, I know Smitty's is over on, it's in Alexander. I don't know if it's 5 or 33. They just dropped one off at my property here over the fall. He's got a truck. You just hook onto it. He winches it right up, drive it right over where you want it to go.
They actually use, I've seen them use like a remote control.
They got that too. They'll have like, some guys will have like, looks like Bobcat type things. He does have that as well to do some fine tuning. But there's such wide open space. I'm sure just his truck alone, he could finagle it wherever it needs to go. It's really, that's kind of the easiest part about it, to be honest with you, I would think. Obviously with the electric line, the gas line, that would probably be the
Electric
hardest
lights.
part. Yeah,
electric lights.
yeah, the electric and the gas.
Well, the lights for the outside.
Even
lights.
I don't even know. I think those would be easy enough to move. We could rent the lift, I'm sure, from Wyoming Correctional to get the lights. I think that's how the guys put them up, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they did. We've been talking about putting lights on that end anyway, so it's kind of killing two birds with one stone.
Just leave them there.
Well, I mean, so you don't think move them?
No, I got National Grid, we're supposed to be meeting and waiting to hear back from them about putting more lights in the park.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Maybe while they're doing it, they can move some of those lights over for us, or leave one there and turn it, or something.
Yeah, but why it wouldn't hurt to leave that corner lit up. It's been nice with that lit up. I'm sure you agree, Dean.
I'd like to see something in that spot, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing a pavilion there.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a big one, but.
Yeah. So he's got to put our heads together and get down there and just see what we got. And, you know, leastwise, you know, we can utilize maybe that hill. I know there's a lot of talk about a lot of kids wanting to go sledding. I know there wasn't much snow. There's really 2 snowfalls we had this year. Who knows? Next year we could get blasted. Who knows? You can't predict the future. You can't. Mother Nature, it's crazy. But at least wise, you know, I guess if we do move it over there, there is snow. At least wise, the hut could be utilized if you can't make ice. Still have the snow to go sledding. I don't think the little school is very fond of people sledding down that hill because of, and I understand, I get it. People do anyway, but I think that's why they put the fence up, and but that's where I used to go as a kid. One of them. So and you know, I get it with liability. We used to go behind our house on Jackson Street, but you know, somebody gets hurt now, and so there's a lot of people that are looking for sledding hills. So that would be kind of a neat little addition into it. And we'll stop down this week and we'll take a look at it. Provide some insight.
The only other thing that's going on down there is maintenance, the building and that, pretty much that, all the had to report.
All right, so is that it for DPW?
Actually, Doug, that would be a really good idea. Having a pavilion closer to the splash pad, birthday party.
I'd actually like to see one that has like roll-up doors on it. So if it's inclement weather, you can close them.
Plus, in the wintertime, you can use storage.
We could be dedicated to Eric too.
Yeah, that's
Better. Anything else for DPW? Topic. Liaison?
Well, we were both at the town board meeting, Gary and I, yesterday, last night. We went over the senior pretty well, but she was asking them for, and that was a big thing last night. Starting off, they were looking for, I think, go over that again. I guess fire department, as far as I know, is still debating on the specs and that for the trucks specs that they have to have in order to give Doug the specs in order to be able to put it out for bid. One of my questions is on that is the one company that they're dealing with, what's the name of the company?
I think it's Pierce.
Pierce. Is there parts or things that Pierce has that other companies would not have?
Well, that's why I said, want to call for bid so anybody can
Bid on
bid on
specs.
it. Yeah, it's just regular specs.
Okay, I mean, there's nothing that, Pierce is the only company that has a certain thing that none of the other ones have?
No, everything's same that anybody else could.
Okay,
You basically just buy, correct me if I'm wrong, you basically just buy the truck and the chassis, and then they put on the equipment from other companies, whatever you purchase,
Unless they
correct?
can build stuff themselves.
Oh, okay.
Was
And
there,
and if you can get the things from, that's the biggest thing. Which, you know, the guy, when he was here, said they're owned by Oshkosh, who is government contract. So they get priority on everything, where some little fly-by-night company, they have to sit, wait, And maybe they'll get the parts, maybe they won't get the parts. That's the only thing. But as far as, everything's, it's a red light, anybody can, the red light on it.
So that was my main concern. Is that-
Are there that many fire truck manufacturers?
Pardon?
Are there that many fire truck manufacturers?
There's not as many manufacturers as there used to be. So many of the big companies have bought up all these little companies.
That's why they're so expensive.
20 companies, there might be only 8 companies. But every big companies are buying up all the competition on the little companies.
So Jay, is there a debate within the fire department as to what to spec out the truck as, what you guys need on a whatever sort of truck you're looking at?
That's why we had a committee to, talk about what we would like on it. And now that, like they said, we're looking at doing it differently and cutting the amount of water down, we could put some of the other stuff on, and that's what, the committee's looking at. And that Saturday, we're going down to Alexander, take a look at, things that we might like on a different truck and, come up with a different set of specs. But I said, no matter who you order it from, it's going to be a while.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. One of the things that came out of that for their benefit and yours, because we were at the meeting, there was a lot of discussions there, and finally decided that one of the things that had to be done is had to come up with specs first of all in order to put it out for bid.
Right.
And then once you get that back, you know what your truck is going to cost you, a new one. Then you decide after that how you're going to deal with the 3 trucks that are in question, the new versus the 2 old ones, and how you're going to deal with financing this fire truck. But you can't make, in my opinion, you can't make a decision until you know what your new truck is going to cost you.
No numbers in front of you.
And what it's gonna be able to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever equipment you can carry with it and everything else that goes along with it.
So, that was why we were looking for specs to give to Doug so he can put it out for bid, and then we get bids and then go from there. So this is what we ended up with that committee. Let's see.
We're going down, putting notepads and
Okay.
see what some of the other truckloads. We've already been to Bennington, Bethany, Barry to look at different trucks. Get some ideas and look at different magazines.
Yeah, so basically, I think where we're at is, just give us the specs. And I think what we agreed on at the meeting was give us the specs of the truck as if we were going to keep number 1. Give us the specs as if we're going to get rid of number 1. Because obviously they would change. We had kept number 1. So I know some of them are very adamant about that, but so we'll just, we'll know more when we get the numbers. So I guess, we're just waiting on the specs. But I don't think we don't need to we don't need to make a motion like was mentioned. So we'll just get the specs and then we put it out to state bid.
Well, to bid. There's no.
Or it's
state-
not, yeah, I don't mean state bid, just have it. It'll work. Yeah. So.
Okay, the next thing that was discussed at the town board meeting, the thing that you got here. The Soil and Water has a grant to change the direction or put the direction of the water for the creek where it used to be, where Harding's furniture store is, plus their other buildings that where it's undermining where the water goes now, where they're kind of like undermining his property, or will be shortly. They plan on doing the water where it used to go, and have that as a backup to the other where it is now. I don't know why they backup, but that's what they planned on. But the original planning engineering, called preliminary engineering, it's going to cost the town about 10,000, and they voted on putting $10,000 towards a preliminary engineering thing. They're looking at maybe for the village to help them in their finances on that $10,000. I had talked to Doug earlier today, and I had doubts myself even last night when we were there, is that whether that would even be legal for the village to be putting money, thing that has nothing to do at this particular point with the village, other than they say the water flow would be better, and then where our new water line might be going might not be jeopardized if we did this. I don't know if that would be jeopardized, you know, if it ever did, you know, with this overflow thing, that's where it was now. But my question was to Doug today is, how do we, is it even legal for the village to put money into something that doesn't really affect the village at all, so to speak, very, very minute, if any?
Actually, it might make it worse.
Well, yeah, if the water flows faster, it could. And then we all, that you brought up, which I agree on, that village taxpayers already support town because the village taxpayers do pay town tax. So we already, in effect, are, as a village taxpayer, we're already helping on this project, so to speak. So I don't see us being able to do it legally to begin with. But
Essentially double dipping.
I guess that's,
Well, they got with the wall.
are they going to help us with the walls?
With the wall.
Yeah. I doubt it. The only thing we're asking, of course, is from the town is to help us on the purchase of the fire truck, but that is, it works both town and
Services
village.
everyone.
That's, yeah, that has everybody's effect on that one. Where this one here is pretty much town issue.
Is this something they
There's
could
no
use
disagreement here.
that state money for? The town hall?
Well, they already bought that.
Well, I know, but is this something they could have used that money for?
It is, yeah.
But they needed that town hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think we. I don't think we.
I don't know. After I got to thinking about it, I don't see how we could do that at all. What do you think, Gary?
Well, we chatted about it on our way out. That's what I said. We already pay town taxes.
Yeah.
Why would we give them more money?
You know, I think it's a long reach for them to be able to do that to the creek. I mean, the creek does that naturally. The hydraulic study they'd have to do to see what kind of downstream adverse effects they would have, especially look at the rodeo, for instance. You know? I don't think they'd ever get the green light to do that. That bend in there really slows that water down for a reason.
I feel like this was discussed. They said there's no way they could do it, but
First bet would be done.
It says
So
soil and
it's
water
right
is supposed to
front,
have
right
a
here, so
grant.
everything would start and go that way. It would be bad.
Oil and water is supposed to have some kind of a grant to be able to do this work, other than the engineering part.
So this was an engineer study. Who did this? Miami County Soil and Water did this?
Mm-hmm.
And they feel that this is what should be done?
I guess they figured something that they should do to prevent the erosion over towards 98 there.
Actually, what you do for that erosion is put stuff along the bank here that's not going to wash. Like they do on the side of the road some places. They'll put rocks and stuff in there and they'll anchor it down with wire mesh stuff so it doesn't.
But we did across.
They need to do something, because it is wearing
Oh,
away.
for sure.
And I understand, Hardings are concerned about. It's just weird how an engineer would do this. I mean, I'm no engineer, by all means. But, yeah, I know, I even asked the question, why not take the island out? Again, I'm no engineer, but I'm thinking just more area to pond water in so that it would slow it down, but
Yeah, if they're gonna use it for storage anyways, then they're gonna have to still do riprap on the sides of other part.
Well, it even has on here that those X's on the side are stream bank stabilization, so they're already talking about doing it. Right there.
Stream-
And the key on the
Right.
bottom
Yeah.
shows X's.
Yeah.
That's what all those X's are.
yeah.
That would, well, that way would ease the water from coming over through here. But then they're gonna put it there too.
But essentially dam it up here to a degree.
I don't know what that-
Got it both places here and all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be something that the village though.
I agree.
Yeah. Plus, like you say, I mean, we've already done taxes already.
Okay, next thing. Sexual harassment training. The state has changed sexual harassment training. I guess the county is setting it up there. And our new training will probably be in the part of this, the videos that we see. Have to have certification once a year. For that, I guess that'll be changed. Adding some things to it. I think that's going to be part of it. I don't think there's going to be additional training, personal training that you have to go to.
It changed quite a bit this year.
It was completely different.
Completely
It's a
different.
very substantial change.
Very
Yeah.
good.
It was cartoons last year, it wasn't this year.
This year, yeah, it was really like a full hour.
And you had to actually answer questions in the middle of it,
And it
at
was
the
all-
end. It was,
Yeah,
it was
yeah, it was
in-depth.
55 minutes, I think, was the
Yep.
duration of the film.
And that's free for us through our
Yep.
EAP.
And the county actually switched to what you're using.
Oh, are they? Good. We'll save them some money.
Yeah, so that can be, it's going to happen.
We took it twice. We had already taken the first.
We got 2 hours on it.
You're well trained, Brian.
Yes.
Shouldn't
They
be
take
any
it just
issues in the
about-
county then, should there?
They take it just about once every month. That's what it seems.
They have, there is no movement on the solar projects, either one of them. So I guess if they don't get going on that, it's going to be a done thing unless they start all over from scratch. From
What
what I
is the
understand.
holdup?
Genesee County.
One was
puts them up
finance.
Constantly. Like, what? I don't get it.
I'm actually working with a solar company. I talked to Nate about it. That some rooftop units and maybe even some land units. I'm working with them right now. So once I have information for you guys, I'll get it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just talks, so.
You think it'd be, there's lots of money out there for solar, you'd think it'd be easy, I don't understand what the.
Both of them are just,
You gotta held the hillside.
if they don't get going on them pretty quick, I can't remember the dates exactly.
They've already had one extension.
But they've had one extension.
Stevens one. Shut that down.
Yeah.
They got
And I don't know how close they are to that being, because it was extended for a year, right?
Yeah. It's gotta be coming up.
Yeah. And Spectrum too, that's the thing, it's kind of on hold for the expansion of services. The parts of the village.
Do they have
or town.
do they have a franchise agreement, do we know?
I don't know if they have an agreement or anything, but I know they were enlarging the Spectrum coverage
Yeah.
in parts of the town.
That's right.
Apparently that has kind of dried up some.
Is the town using ARPA money for that? Because that's one of the things that's earmarked.
They originally said they were going to.
And the ARPA money that you could use that for is the expansion of internet, high-speed internet.
But I'm not sure if they used all their ARPA money up already.
Well, they used it on the building part.
Yeah.
And earlier we're talking about some work being done on the building. What's the name of the guy? On the way to Darien.
Zirinsky?
Zirinsky.
Oh.
We're getting back. That's pretty much it. Anything else to come in?
Nope, that's everything.
All right, any questions of the liaison? Nobody here from the planning board, so Doug, you're up.
Bank reconciliation, assessors report. I think I passed, you guys got that.
Yep.
Treasurer's report and justice report, you guys got all that. Got a letter from Docs regarding our agreement to assist the village with the water treatment plant. I think it came after the last board meeting. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So they are on board with assisting us, just so you guys know. Nate brought it. We talked about it. And then also you guys got a thanks from the Chamber of Commerce for supporting Winterfest. But the docks, obviously the docks is a huge step for us. I mean, the new rate is about 64%. So, after the $5 million grant, our share could be, if everything goes well, maybe $2 million out of $11.5 million project.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good job with that.
And that's all I got.
All right, anybody have anything to do? Any old business? Any new business? No? All right, so we'll move on. Recommended action, the village board of trustees adopts the following resolution. Next general village election.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna read it.
Yeah.
Additions.
Yeah, it's obviously, I mean, I gotta stay out of this anyway.
I'll make that.
Motion?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
I think you got abstained too, don't you?
No, you can go.
Okay.
I get it.
Opposed? Just voted for yourself.
Oh, no. They don't count.
Recommended action, the village approves the bank reconciliation report. January 23. All in favor?
Aye.
Recommended action, the village board approves the training request for Craig Kazrazak, Justin Lane, Paul Gorney, and Chad Clark to attend a free workshop training to be held on March 9th, 2023 in Lakeville. Where is Lakeville? Is that Lakeville?
Right. Yeah,
That's right.
but towards Hamburg, right? Yeah.
Okay. Training is mandatory to keeping excavator license current.
I move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action, the village board closes the public hearing. What do we got here? 7:32 p.m. Regarding the use of the equipment reserve funds to pay for the unbonded portion, $49,771 for the new loader.
Motion.
Sounds like we're all in favor?
Yep.
All right.
So we'll bond 100,000. 7 years.
Recommended action, the village board closes the public hearing at 7:33 regarding the amendment of chapter 54. Military service, Cold War.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Doug, if we could write something up or something that we could post maybe on the, okay, thank you. Recommended action, the village board closed the public hearing, 7:33 as well, regarding the amendment of chapter 54 for the fire department and ambulance members for a maximum of $3,000 to 10% exemption.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, so we saw any questions on the treasurer's report, bank balance report, justice report. We discussed the letter from the chamber, the memo. Wasn't there a?
That's for executive session, right?
No.
Yeah, but what was this one here? This one was to appoint the personnel hire officer. guys get a chance to read this?
We don't have to go to the second, right?
No.
That might be. Do we know, I don't know either one. This is the one guy, especially don't know anything about it.
Lucas currently works for us part-time. He's in the process of getting part-time civil service status through Warsaw PD. And Chief Hoffmeister has no problem of us using him as full-time officer. That won't be until his probationary period will be over on March 4th. So at March 4th, he will be, if you guys agree, appointed to fill one of the full-time positions that are vacant. Mr. Young lives in Arcade. We're about 99.5% done with his background check. And he can start, he currently works for corrections. He's wishing to leave that profession. And he's number one on the civil service list. He's already got the police academy. He's just waiting to graduate from the academy. He's been working in Arcade on the road. A solid guy.
When is he going to be done at DK?
They're just waiting for the graduation day.
Oh, okay.
Everything's accomplished.
He's done already.
Yeah.
Wait, but this is their
Oh,
field
that's-
training time.
Yeah.
Okay,
I,
So we could probably do this even, I mean, I don't know, as a whole, or.
Well, I got it written down separately. Sheets, if you want.
Yeah,
Lucas
Probably,
first,
I don't think we do it as a whole.
Starting him on, I got him on March 5th, because if he's good on March 4th, March 5th starts a new. Just kind of works out easy.
that's for both of them?
That'd be for Colopy.
Column.
I thought with Ryan Young, as soon as the completion, I guess we could do it pending the completion of the
Right.
positive background check.
Yeah, we've done that.
And he'll have everything done in the
Yes.
academy because he was a part-time.
Yes.
Okay.
Arcade put him through as a part-time officer.
Okay.
So his day would just fluctuate with his successful completion of the background.
Make a motion to hire Lucas. Fine.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll make a motion also that we hire the other gentleman
Done upon
on completion of the background check.
I'll second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to appoint Carl Paul and part-time. I'll make that.
I got a question.
So do I.
Is this something we need to
That's
discuss?
why
I think we better discuss that on executive session, that we're talking about employee,
Okay.
or at least a former one. And the rest we have to wait till executive also.
I think so.
Last but not least, I will entertain a motion, a resolution, to acknowledge Juneteenth as a holiday here in the village. We didn't do it last year.
Oh, this is the one that was questioned.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to do that. Or put that in the
Make that motion.
motion.
Second.
Yes, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Put that in. Then I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
Favor?
Aye.
All right.